Welcoming back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We always appreciate it when you watch live. We're on a number of different platforms. I do want to emphasize we're also at digitaltrends.com/live, another place where you can join us and have these discussions about technology. And right now we're going to talk about some cutting edge technology. Absolutely. And that is going to be about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is something that I think we see it being put into so many different platforms right now. We see it being utilized in a lot of different ways. And actually, one other thing to emphasize is that last week we had our Trends with Benefits podcast, which Trends with Benefits is our weekly roundtable tech podcast here at Digital Trends, where we kind of go in depth on some of these topics. During DT Live, we get to do 10 minutes. The Trends with Benefits show, where we actually have 4 different people, we kind of go a little more in depth. And so I highly suggest wherever you listen to podcasts to go to your service, find Trends with Benefits. And our last episode, our latest one, was called AI or BS, where we just kind of go through artificial intelligence and what actually is artificial intelligence and what isn't. It was a fun episode, and you can go there and check that out. Again, wherever you get podcasts, Trends with Benefits. All right, we're broadcasting live here on Digital Trends. And again, thank you everybody for joining us. I'm Greg Nibbler. Let's talk about some cutting edge technology right now. From Rekor Systems, we have Matt Hill, who is the Chief Science Officer. Hello, Matt.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. First off, love that title. That is like that's got to be the coolest thing ever to tell people what you do.
Yeah. Well, there was a chief technology officer already. So when they acquired my company, I got chief science officer, which I love as well. I think it's a great title.
It's got to be fun to introduce yourself as that. But let's talk about what your company does, and then let's get into talking about some artificial intelligence. Can we give everybody just a little bit of a backstory on what you do?
Sure. So what Rekor does is it takes video data. So video data from any camera. We have our own cameras. We also can use commodity IP cameras, and we identify license plates and vehicles in the video. So it's something that license plate recognition has been around for a long time, but what Rekor does differently, it uses AI and machine learning to do it at a very low cost and with extremely high accuracy.
I think that's interesting that you said it's pretty much any video feed.
Yeah, that's right. So these traditional cameras have been around for 15, 20 years, but they require specialized optics, specialized cameras. They're zoomed into a particular lane, and they're extremely expensive. So we found that most places don't really use many license plate cameras, even though it's been around for a while. But what our software does is makes it so low cost and so effective that we're seeing just a huge increase in the usage of this technology.
So let's talk about the technology first, and then I want to talk about the use cases. So what were you able to do that makes it, I guess, cost efficient for companies to get into this? Because like you said, normally that used to be a kind of expensive technology to utilize. What has changed in the landscape that's made you able to do this?
Well, it's the AI. So the fact that we can just pull normal video, like what a human would see, not special infrared images, not special types of video, just a normal video feed of cars passing. And we can tell you the license plate number, just like a human would when they write it down on a piece of paper. We can tell you the make, model, the color, the body type. So we can infer a lot of information just right from the screen. So yeah, exactly. Like that video you're pulling up, this is just a normal, I think that's a web camera. Somebody's driving through a parking lot, and it understands where the license plates are, and it's able to pick them out and pull out the numbers. So that's, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so it takes ordinary cameras and, for lack of a better word, makes them smart cameras.
Exactly. So that's why the cost has come down so much, is because we don't need specialized cameras or specialized optics. Just any normal IP camera, any normal commodity camera can turn itself into a highly intelligent license plate recognition and vehicle recognition camera.
So going from there, talking about license plate recognition, what are some of the use cases? Where are you seeing it being utilized at right now?
Well, so when I got started, I actually thought that the majority of the use would be law enforcement. Mm-hmm. And we see that a lot, but it's been surprising to me. There's been so many use cases outside of law enforcement for automation. Things like brand loyalty at car washes, automation in parking lots, opening up gates and things like that. HOAs, being able to know that a person who's authorized is coming onto the property. Even things like drive-throughs. You can imagine people drive up to the drive-through and remembering what you ordered last time, so that they can offer you a coupon or remind you, or things like that. Improving the user experience.
I love that use for a lot of them. I don't want the drive-through that I go to recognizing. I don't want that shame, but otherwise, definitely I can see that some great uses of it. So now that you can do this, what are some things that you think people should know about when it comes to this? I know in particular there's one of the things called move over. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? What that is?
Yeah, that's right. So license plate recognition is one part of it, but the other thing that this Rekor is doing is using the technology to be able to change behavior on the road. So there's two things that we see is commonly done today, but is not really being enforced. One of them is school bus stop arms. So we see people are driving past school buses and endangering children. Driving past quickly, and it's a pretty big problem. We see the number of people that drive past you wouldn't believe it. The number of people that drive past a stop arm when it's exposed and children are crossing the street. It's actually quite surprising because people are in a hurry and they just maybe they don't care. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, so being able to enforce that and say that, this car drove past this stop arm, that's something that is pretty important. The other thing is the move over laws. Rekor is the first company that has a device that can enforce people flying past a police officer on the side of the road or flying past a tow truck driver. Right now, they don't really enforce it. It's a law on the books, but unfortunately, people are just going 80 miles an hour, within a foot from a police officer. And police officers are dying every day, and tow truck drivers are being killed. So even just being able to issue a warning and say, please change your behavior because it's not safe. That's something that, in addition to grabbing license plates, this AI machine learning is also able to be used to enforce that kind of activity. So that's what Rekor, among other things, it's some of the products that Rekor has.
Interesting. Where are you seeing it being applied right now? How far? What's the usage rate, at least as far as where you're at right now?
Well, so for license plate recognition, it's pretty impressive that when we talk for law enforcement, for example, we talk to a police department. They usually say there's only 5, maybe 10 cameras that they're currently using. And with our cost model, it's so inexpensive that we see those same cities could support hundreds, or thousands. We had one city that had no license plate recognition at all, but they had street cameras. They had cameras that were pointed over traffic lights. So they used our software to just turn those into license plate cameras, and it's been amazing the drop in crime rates, a noticeable drop in crime rates. They're able to pull people over who are on who are wanted criminals who committed crimes, and within, they drive past a checkpoint, and rather than them waiting to commit the next crime, they have them and they pull them over and arrest them.
It's something that, like you said, utilizing artificial intelligence, there's no way you'd have enough people to ever be able to do that, to do something like that.
Exactly. It's like having a person at every street corner just writing down the plate numbers and matching it against a huge list of people that have committed violent crimes.
How is this translated into savings, like cost-wise? I see one of our questions came through. George said some municipalities could benefit by saving on the hardware costs. I'm sure this saves a lot of money. How is that translating through? Oh,
absolutely. That's probably the biggest benefit, I think, is the fact that they can use existing cameras, or they can use low-cost cameras to do this. Just to give you an example, one customer was quoted $20,000 for one camera to watch a single lane of traffic, which is extraordinarily expensive, I think. Whereas our cost model is much lower. We charge $300 a year per camera. So it's
wow.
In terms of they can put these things in a lot of different places, and they can just cast a wider net to be able to make the city safer if they're using it for law enforcement.
Yeah, that's a lot cheaper. Where do you see this going in the near, say, 5 years?
Well, I think you're going to see artificial intelligence being used on all kinds of devices, not just for license plates, but people will use it for pedestrian detection and automating a lot of things situations that might be unsafe today. But license plate recognition, I think it's going to be so much more common in the next few years. We don't really see it that much today, just because even though it's been around for a while, it's just so expensive and it hasn't been accurate enough. But now with this new technology, it's going to be fairly common, I think.
Well, if a company's out there and they want to utilize, or a city and they want to utilize Rekor, how do they get into it?
Well, so that's another thing that we just make it open. We make it easy they can sign up themselves. They can put in a credit card, and in 20 minutes they can start capturing vehicle and plate data.
Wow! So they would just send their video feed to you. You capture that and then send it back to them.
Yeah. So that's what we're seeing. car washes and corporate parking lots. This is the kind of stuff they're doing. They're basically just signing up themselves. They're saying that, hey, this works, it's affordable, we can use this for our security system or whatever they want to integrate it with, and that's it. So we really haven't done much advertising or marketing to this date, and it's just been growing organically.
Wow.
Just people are trying it out and saying they like it.
Well, it sounds really impressive. I'm impressed with the AI aspect of it, and just to see where this ends up going, just because it's advancing so quickly.
Yeah.
And where it's going to end up.
Yeah, on the software side, I actually started the project before a lot of this AI stuff was coming out, and then we kind of transitioned into it, and the difference is incredible. Just in terms of accuracy rates, when we originally started building the software, it was something like 60% accurate, and today we're at 99, a little over 99%. So you can just it's so much better than what's out there. It's amazing how good that AI technology is.
Wow. Well, Matt, I want to say thank you very much for joining us here on Digital Trends to talk about this. It's always exciting talking about where AI is going, and in particular, what Rekor is doing, and hearing about companies like yours. Matt, thanks for being here on Digital Trends Live.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, so talking about artificial intelligence and the way it's being utilized, that's definitely an interesting way to see it in those different use cases, in particular of license plates and how it can be utilized.